Understanding Soul Ties by Minister Sherene Dowdie. A soul tie is a profound, spiritual, and emotional bond that unites two people, weaving their hearts and minds together in a deep connection. While the exact phrase doesn't appear in the Bible, the concept of souls being knit together is a powerful undercurrent in Scripture and a recognized experience in human relationships. These connections can be a source of incredible strength and support, but they can also become unhealthy attachments that are difficult to break. Understanding their biblical basis, the different forms they take, the science behind bonding, and how to discern between good and bad ties is crucial for navigating our relationships with wisdom. What does the Bible say about soul ties? The Bible speaks extensively about the powerful bonds that can form between individuals. The most classic example of a healthy, platonic soul tie is the relationship between David and Jonathan. In 1 Samuel 18:1, the scripture says, "The soul of Jonathan was knit to the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul." This describes an intense friendship built on loyalty, respect, and deep mutual affection, a true meeting of spirits. The most profound soul tie described in the Bible is that of marriage. Genesis 2:24 states that a man will hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. This concept is reiterated by Jesus in Mark 10:8. The one flesh union is more than just a physical act. It is a spiritual fusion where two individuals are joined on every level: spirit, soul, and body. This covenantal bond is intended to be the deepest and most permanent soul tie. The Apostle Paul also warns of the spiritual consequences of physical intimacy outside of this covenant. In 1 Corinthians 6:16, he asks, "Do you not know that he who is joined to a prostitute becomes one body with her?" This suggests that sexual relationships inherently create powerful spiritual and emotional bonds, whether they are healthy or not. Different types of soul ties. Soul ties are not limited to romance or friendship. They can be formed in various contexts. Familial ties. These are the natural, formative bonds between parents and children, or among siblings. They shape our identity and sense of security from birth. Platonic ties. As with David and Jonathan, these are deep, non-romantic friendships founded on shared values, trust, and mutual encouragement. Marital ties. This is the one flesh connection God designed for marriage, intended to be a permanent and exclusive bond. Spiritual ties. These can form with mentors, pastors, or spiritual leaders who guide and influence our spiritual journey. Harmful ties. Not all ties are positive. Bonds can be formed through trauma, abuse, control, or manipulation, creating an unhealthy attachment that can feel impossible to escape. The role of oxytocin in human bonding. There is a powerful biological component to these deep connections, largely driven by a hormone called oxytocin, often referred to as the bonding hormone or cuddle chemical. Oxytocin is released by the brain during moments of social and physical closeness, such as hugging, holding hands, childbirth, and, most significantly, during sexual intimacy. This hormone acts as a kind of social glue, fostering feelings of trust, empathy, and attachment. When two people are intimate, the flood of oxytocin chemically reinforces their bond, making them feel closer and more connected. This physiological process helps explain why physical relationships create such strong emotional ties. The brain begins to associate the other person with feelings of pleasure and security, solidifying the connection on a neurological level and making separation feel physically and emotionally painful. Good versus bad soul ties. Discerning between healthy and unhealthy soul ties is vital for emotional and spiritual well-being. Good soul ties are mutually uplifting and reflect God's design for relationships. They are characterized by respect, freedom, encouragement, and unconditional love. A healthy bond will support your personal growth, draw you closer to your purpose, and never involve manipulation, control, or dependency. These relationships, whether in friendship or marriage, are a source of strength. Bad soul ties, in contrast, are draining and destructive. They are often formed through relationships that fall outside of God's will, such as through sexual intimacy outside of marriage or in abusive dynamics. These bonds are marked by obsession, jealousy, control, and a sense of being stuck. A person in an unhealthy soul tie may feel unable to move on long after a relationship has ended, constantly replaying memories or feeling emotionally chained to the other person. Breaking these ties often requires a conscious spiritual decision involving prayer, forgiveness, renouncing the connection, and establishing firm boundaries to reclaim one's emotional and spiritual freedom.